The end of June and this scorching weather in Atlanta cannot end fast enough here at Turner Field, but perhaps today the start of a winning streak as the Braves play the first-place Washington Nationals in Game 2 of our 3-game series. And all year long, Braves baseball on Peachtree TV is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, The Right Stuff, and The Low Price. Hi again, friends, with Joe Simpson and Tom Glavine. Chip Carey back at the ballpark. The Braves lost a heartbreaker by a run last night and start play today in third place, 4.5 games behind Washington, and it's a hot day. And speaking of heat, Steven Strasburg is the pitching opponent for the Nationals, and the Braves have yet to beat him this year, Tommy.
Yeah, well, he's been quickly establishing himself not only as one of the best young pitchers in the game, but one of the best pitchers in the game, period. And with a tough loss like last night, the Braves are going to have to forget about that quickly and go to work today. What makes Steven so difficult, obviously, is his velocity, but on top of that, it's his command. He can command that fastball, big breaking ball, and a really nasty changeup to go along with all that. So it's hard to focus on just one speed or one pitch, which is going to mean the runs probably, Joe, will be at a premium for the Braves today.
Absolutely, Tom. They're going to have to take advantage of every opportunity they get. And if you go back just to last night, 4 times during the ballgame the Braves got their leadoff man on and didn't score in any of those innings. And twice it was a leadoff double, and they weren't able to capitalize. They can't let opportunities like that go away today.
Let's see if Mike Minor can pitch a good ball game, too, for this Atlanta ball club. Really need Mike to step up and give this Braves club some innings as they try to even up the series on a hot, steamy day at Turner Field in Atlanta. Let's beat the Nats. We'll show you today's starting lineups and get to our first pitch when we come right back after this. By Academy Sports and Outdoors, by AT by Delta Airlines, and by Ford. Fans at Turner Field looking for shelter any way they can find it. It is hot indeed for the Atlanta Braves and the Washington Nationals. 110 down by the Braves dugout. The official game time temperature, we understand this is the hottest day ever recorded in Atlanta, Georgia. 104 degrees. The hottest temperature on this date, I should say, 104 degrees. Thankfully, fellas, low humidity.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that even helps. I know it would be a lot worse if it were high humidity, but it's smoking.
It's hot.
So hot, nobody wants to go on the field. Except the cameraman. And what he's doing out there, I have no idea. Get the camera operator off the field. He's not playing today.
But these guys are. Here come the Braves. Brian McCann behind the plate. And Atlanta will try to cool off Washington on a 100-plus degree day today. The Nationals have really given the Braves fits, winning 7 of the last 8 matchups head-to-head. And the man that had the big game last night was Mike Morse, who went 4 for 4 and provided the game-winning hit. That was an 8th-inning solo home run.
They'll be facing Braves left-hander Mike Minor, making his 15th start on the year. See his numbers against the career National League East numbers, 15 starts, 4-5 with a 6.42 ERA. So he's got his work cut out for him today. Not only trying to get himself on track, but also knowing that the man that's going to oppose him on the mound, you figure, is not going to give the Braves too many opportunities to score today. So he's really got to be on his game.
He's 24 years old, 6'4", 205. His 4 keys to success today, and it does have to do with the heat. In, out, in. Means work in, work out, and then get off the field and get your team in the dugout. The more time they can spend in the dugout today, the fresher they're going to be. And also, be aware of the fact that they've got 3 of the top 5 guys in the league who like to swing at the first pitch. As we showed last night in a graphic, Freddie Freeman leads the league in that category, but 3 other guys in their lineup like that first pitch as well. How about this, Tom? I mean, I think it kind of goes hand in hand with when he has a good game. He's just got better command, not walking guys, but he just hasn't had enough of those games.
Well, we talk about it all the time in terms of command. What does command mean? And it's obviously in this case, it's pretty easy to see that the fewer guys Mike walks, the better success he tends to have, and I think that's true of most pitchers. But also it goes beyond that. It's the command of good quality strikes like we talk about all the time. It's not just throwing a strike for the sake of throwing a strike. Because if you throw balls down the middle or throw balls up, these guys are going to hit them. So it's getting balls down in the zone, on the corners, and being able to do all that without walking guys.
And tough duty today for Marvin Hudson. He will have the plate. And one would think he will have that cooling vest underneath his umpiring chest protector. With Tim McClelland at first, Brian Runge at second, and Ted Barrett umpiring at third.
It's not a good thing that the umpires behind the plate for the next 2 days are, by rating services, 2 of the top hitters umpires in baseball. They don't call a lot of strikes.
But 1 to start the game from Mike Minor. Perhaps an encouraging sign. Danny Espinosa's the second baseman. Espinosa 1 for 4 last night. That hit was a second inning single. He batted 7th in the series opener, leads off game 2 today. That just missed the inside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Mike's last start at Boston got beat 9-4, pitched into the 5th inning, gave up 7 runs, but only 4 were earned. And you might remember that that's because after an error was made, there were 3 home runs hit off of him.
Scorched fair down the third base line. Francisco couldn't get it, and Espinosa starts the game with an extra base hit. That's his 18th double, and the Nationals back in business to start the first inning.
They took a shot at the fastball in on the pitch previous to it, tried to go with the backdoor breaking ball, and that's what we're talking about, throwing a quality strike. Yeah, that's a strike, but that ball finished caught way too much of the middle part of the plate. That's a pitch that he's trying to keep on the outside third of the plate at best. When it comes in like that, it gives him a chance to turn on it, and no surprise, another extra base hit.
And that'll bring up Bryce Harper. Harper starting the game in center field today. He has a 6-game hitting streak against the Braves. 9 hits in that stretch with 3 homers. One ball, 1 strike.
Mike was matched up with Steven Strasburg back on May 26th here. He got no decision, went 5 innings, gave up 4 runs. Needs to pitch deeper today if he can.
Harper rolls to the right side, and he makes a productive out. Espinosa's at third base, and Zimmerman is coming up with a runner at third. Here's the Braves defensive lineup. That had trouble catching the ball in game 1 of the series, committed 2 errors. Prado, Bourne, and Hayward left to right. Freeman, Ugla, Simmons, and Juan Francisco in for Chipper Jones at third base, and Brian McCann back behind the plate.
It's the second time in as many opportunities in the last 2 games that Harper's gotten that runner over to third after a leadoff double.
Zimmerman becomes the key man in the inning. 2 for 5 last night. 4 RBIs against the Braves so far this year. And quickly down a strike.
It takes some good pitching here to this part of the order, but sure don't want to spot Steven Strasburg an early run.
The middle will get a run home. Ugla makes the play at second, and Espinosa scores to make it 1-0 Washington on Zimmerman's 31st RBI of the year.
Like Mike almost got a bare hand on that.
Yeah, almost got a piece of it, but like I say, as much as you don't want to give Steven Strasburg an early lead, keep it to 1. Figure you're going to at least get an opportunity here or there to score off of Strasburg before it's all said and done. So keep it to 1 and keep it manageable.
Big night for the Washington big man in right field, Michael Morse. A 4-hit night last night. Morse added 29 points to his batting average. This was a heartbreaking hit late.
Right after the Braves had tied the game on the first pitch of the 8th inning, he took Chad Durbin deep.
Morse, our SunTrust solid performance and a welcome return from injury.
6 driven in and 9 scored in 7 games. He's been in the middle of all of that for the last week.
And that ball's hammered to deep center. Bourne leaps just shy of the warning track and puts it away to retire the side. Morse hit a laser and is the 3rd out of the inning. But Washington strikes first, a leadoff double, and a Ryan Zimmerman groundout makes it 1-0 for Steven Strasburg, who goes to work next. Stephen Strasburg. Braves at 40-36 for the season. Have a different look to the bottom of the order with Andrelton Simmons in the 7th spot, Juan Francisco 8th, and Mike Minor pitching and batting 9th. Oh, by the way, Dan Uggla's back too,
which is a good thing. And they'll be facing, as Chip mentioned, Stephen Strasburg, 9-2 with a 2.60 ERA on the year. The good news is you'll see his splits here. At home against the Braves, 1-1 with a 1.64 here at Turner Field. Not quite as good, still 1-1, but the Braves have touched them up quite a bit here in Atlanta, so hopefully that trend will continue.
And his 4 keys to pitching success: control the heat. Well, it applies to his fastball and to the day, because he got worn out a little bit here in a 91-degree day back on May 26th, and he's got 2 different change-ups, and I think you can probably describe that better, Mr. Glavin, the way he uses them.
Well, he's obviously got the 94, 95 mile an hour fastball, but he's got a 90 mile an hour changeup that he uses more for contact when he's behind in the count, and then an 88 or so that he uses as a strikeout pitch. I guess the big difference between the two is, you're still, even though it's 91, you're still getting fooled by the speed a little bit when you're geared up for 94, 95. The 88 one, not only is it a change of speeds, but it's got great movement as well.
And he does get a lot of strikeouts, not surprisingly, 118 of them in 90 innings.
59 left-handers, 59 right-handers.
Equal opportunity.
But he misses low. 3 balls and a strike. So I think we've seen 2 different Strasburgs in the starts against the Braves this year. The one here in Atlanta, and then where he gave up the 4 runs, and then the start up in Washington. I don't know if anybody could have hit him well that day.
Yeah, they've been a tale of 2 starts for him, and the one here, he only went 5 innings, and again, it was a hot day on May 26th, about 91, and I think it got to him a little bit, and it was a season high in walks for him with 4. So the Braves were patient that day. He didn't quite have his usual command.
And there's a leadoff walk for Braves center fielder Michael Bourne. Good start for Atlanta.
Here's a look at that day in late May. Made some mistakes in the middle of the plate. Francisco was 2 for 2, and Dan Uggla took him deep.
And I think that speaks to, again, we talk about 2 things all the time: velocity and command. And even with a guy like Strasburg that throws as hard as he does, if you're throwing the ball down the middle, you're throwing the ball up, these guys are going to hit it. And I think that was the difference in that May start. Like you said, Joe, you saw some pitches over the middle of the plate, you saw some pitches up, and then the next time he faced Atlanta in Washington, I don't think he made too many pitches that were mistakes.
No, he didn't. 7 innings of 4-hit shutout ball and no walks.
And 90 pitches in 7 innings. And that's great work. But he's laboring just a bit to start. He's thrown 5 balls, 2 strikes out of the first 7 pitches of the day. And he's got a man at first and Martin Prado in the batter's box. It's almost not fair, Tommy. A 90-mile-an-hour changeup, really?
I'm telling you. I mean, and it's doubly not fair that you can throw as hard as he does and you can pinpoint it. I mean, that's what makes guys like him so special. When you have that added ability to command when you have great stuff, boy, you don't see too many guys that can do that. Obviously, a guy like Clemens or Pedro Martinez, 2 guys that jump out right away that had that great stuff and command. But usually guys that have that great stuff, it's a little bit tougher to command it, and they don't rely so much on their command.
Going outside, 2 balls and a strike. Well, Brandon Beachy takes a good long look at Stephen Strasburg. Beachy, as you know, went through Tommy John surgery. So has Strasburg. And in 20 starts since the surgery, all Strasburg has done is come back and win 10 and lose 3. With a 2.37 ERA. So Beach can do the same thing. Get well soon. Can't wait to see you back throwing the baseball again for the Braves. Two.
95 on the black. That had a little action on it too. Moving back to the outside corner. He's 6'4", 220. 23 years old now, out of San Diego.
Runner goes, doesn't matter. Ball 4, back-to-back walks. And Strasburg appears a little frustrated here in the first inning.
He's coming off a start at Colorado where he actually lost. He snapped a string of 6 straight wins. He got beat 4-2. 6 innings, 6 hits, only 3 runs. So it was technically a quality start. But he walked only 1 and struck out 8.
Tommy, is there a carryover from start to start from pitching in Coors Field to a place like Atlanta or even Washington?
Yeah, there is. I mean, I think the carryover is that, at least for me, anytime I pitched in Colorado, it was a longer recovery. I was a little bit more sore after I pitched, a little bit stiffer in my bullpen. So yeah, there's a little bit of that carryover. Now, if he's experiencing some of that today, I don't know, but he definitely looks like there's a little bit something missing right now. And I don't know. It's hard to tell. You know, he threw that. I think the second pitch he threw to Michael Bourne, fastball in. It looked like he wanted it and didn't get it. So I don't know if that rubbed him the wrong way, or he just doesn't feel like he's quite where he wants to be yet, and he's trying to find something. But it looks to me, in watching him, like his wheels are spinning a little bit.
Jason Hayward down a strike, and now 0-2.
Yeah, some reports say that he can be a little temperamental, and I don't mean that like a whining brat. I just mean he's aggressive. He wants everything to go his way, and when it doesn't, he gets agitated. Very aggressive.
Let's see if that sets up the changeup off the plate for Hayward. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, typically, kind of the rule of thumb is hard in, soft away. So he threw the hard in fastball. See if that was to set up getting him off that 2-strike changeup that he likes to throw. Oh, doubled up on him.
And he strikes out Hayward with a fastball. 2 on, 1 out for Freddie Freeman.
It's the first time he struck Jason out. 6 at bats.
A good hard fastball, and that's what you need to do as a pitcher sometimes. Look, you have reports on everybody. Like I said, that's kind of a rule of thumb in that cat and mouse game. Okay, well, if he goes hard in, he's probably going to go soft away. Every now and then you do a little bit of something to stay off of that pattern, and right there he doubled up with the fastball, and Jason wasn't looking for it.
And so, fellas, here are those situations that you talked about in the opening commentary. Runs may be tough to come by. Braves had 2 on, nobody out. Now 2 on, 1 out, and the heart of the order up.
You know, runs will be hard to come by, but that doesn't mean you won't have your opportunities. And this certainly is one of those where they got to try and cash in.
Big breaking ball, 0-2.
Oh yeah, he's got one of those too.
Yeah, and that's what makes him hard. You know, you look at his scouting report. He throws a pretty equal amount of both curveballs and changeups in terms of percentage of those pitches, which, as a hitter, it makes it hard to eliminate one or the other.
Dan Uggla's back in the lineup, and he is our Delta Airlines on deck batter. Dan can hit anybody's fastball. And he's hit Strasburg hard.
Well, let's hope he's the tonic today for Dan to get him going again.
Fly ball well hit left center. Back goes Harper. At the warning track, makes the catch. Bourne will tag and move to third base. Freddie Freeman hit it a mile to left center, but is the second out of the first inning.
This one did everything but go out of the ballpark. He hit it right on the button.
And that was that 2-strike changeup that he likes to throw, but it finished thigh high instead of knee high or below, and hitters can stay on that a little bit longer. Freddie put a good swing on it.
Strike one.
Seems like every at bat Dan's had in recent days too, during these tough times, he's been behind in the count before he even got in the box.
And we asked Dan last night what he was working on his day off in game one.
What am I working on? Contact. Hard contact. I'm daydreaming about it, and I'm dreaming about it at night, so it's going to happen.
Doesn't get any simpler than that.
And he looks high at an 0-2 pitch. And now has a count of 1 ball, 2 strikes. Strike 3 outside corner, and Ugla knew it. Strasburg has his second of the ball game, and the Braves strand a pair of walks issued in back-to-back fashion to start the first inning. 1-0 Washington, an early lead. Of the Braves, hoping to see Atlanta come back and win game 2 of this series, down an early run to the first place Washington Nationals, who will send Adam LaRoche, Ian Desmond, and Tyler Moore to the plate against Mike Minor. So the Braves' first chance to score went uncapitalized. Roche pops one foul for a strike. 0-1 to the Nats first baseman. In the air down the right field line, and Hayward will play that on a hop. Well, no, he won't. It'll bounce over the fence for another leadoff double for Washington.
Again, Adam just lures you to sleep. Look how quick he is on this pitch in.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they were trying to throw a strike in there or not, but he's so good in there. You better be real picky as to when you do go in there, and a lot of times when you do, just show it to him in off the plate where he can't do anything with it, and just let him know you're willing to go in there, but not where he can hit it.
And certainly not down.
No.
Joe, you got the scouting report on Ian Desmond before the game last night.
Washington folks said he might be their best player right now, and last night's game certainly showed you why they feel that way.
And then especially when he came through that big hit after all the mistakes the Braves made in the third inning.
"13 home runs for Desmond. And another excellent at bat by this young Washington offense. Harper with a good ground out. Desmond with a good ground out.
You don't have to swing hard to do that. And people always say, well, you know, take something off your swing to try to have a little better bat control. And that's exactly what Harper did last night and today, and what Desmond just did.
That wasn't an easy pitch to hit the other way right
No.
there. That was a cutter in on his knuckles that he just fought it off and served it over there beautifully.
The Braves infield creeps in with Tyler Moore up and 1 out.
There's that pitch, Tom. Really had to pull his hands in.
Yeah, that's just a nice piece of hitting right there
Sure
by any hitter, and especially a young hitter.
Look at the work by Tyler Moore, who attended Mississippi State University after a 2-year run at Meridian, Mississippi Community College. 4 homers, 10 RBIs in his last 12 games. That's our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot. Did he go? Yes, he did. 1-2.
I believe he had a 2 home run game in Colorado as well.
Well, he's no stranger to home runs. The last 2 years in the minor leagues, 31 homers each season. And a looping line drive is caught at second. Moore can't bring home LaRoche. That's a big out in the game. Runner at third now, 2 outs.
Good pitch. Kind of like the one to Desmond. He had to fight that off.
Yep, it was a nice pitch following that breaking ball for strike 2. Hard in on the hands and couldn't do anything with it. It was a big pitch and a big out.
The Braves will take the bat out of the hands of Flores, the catcher. He's really hit Atlanta pitching hard, but you don't have an easy out in the on-deck circle, do you?
I say that might not. It's not as easy a choice as it looks like.
Strasburg hitting just under 350. He's 8 for 23, 4 doubles and a homer.
Joe, do you want to say it before Tom does?
Something about being athletic. No, this speaks for itself. Hit the homer against the Orioles in the first round of interleague play. But he's been finding some gaps too, or he wouldn't have 4 doubles. He's hit so well that he's actually been hit by a pitch. He got knocked down and somebody threw it.
Listen, if he reaches his pitch inning allotment, they might not want to shut him down, keep him on the bench for his bat.
First and third, 2 outs. And a ball low to Strasburg. Well, his college coach was Tony Gwynn. Surely Tony taught him a thing or two about how to hit. Grounds on the umpire, Marvin Hudson. As Joe said, both he and Tim McClellan have very hitter-friendly strike zones. Up the middle, base hit. Strasburg brings home LaRoche to make it 2-0. So for the second straight game, fellas, a Washington starting pitcher has a second inning RBI.
Last night's came with 2 outs when Detweiler came through. And I know it's a natural reaction to get your leg out of the way when ground ball's coming toward it, but that would have been a good time to leave your leg down there and try to skate save.
Kick save.
Yeah.
So 2 on, 2 out for Danny Espinosa. As we mentioned, this Washington staff can hit. That's our Academy Sports and Outdoor leaderboard.
Strasburg gets his 3rd RBI.
Now McCann wants to talk about it.
Well, we've been talking about the temperature and how these pitchers want to have quick innings if at all possible just to get their fielders off the field, and none more important than the catcher. Whatever heat is going to cause whatever problems the heat's going to cause for the pitchers, it's going to be doubly so for the catchers and all that gear.
Espinosa this year hitting .229, but the right side's been his best average side, .329.
That's why they like him in the leadoff spot against lefties, but not against right-handers, and why they've been using Lombardozzi to lead off against right-handers.
Full count.
From a 3-1 changeup, see if he comes back with it.
Runners go. The pitch popped up in shallow right. Hayward coming on, still coming near the line, makes the grab, and that retires the side. Steven Strasburg helps his cause with an RBI hit. His lead is 2-0 as Brian McCann greets him first in the Atlanta second.
nationwide year after year. Experience all the comfort and amenities you expect at an unexpectedly low price. Jameson Inn, Southern hospitality at its best.
There you see, fellas, two big Braves fans hard at work on a 104-degree day. And here's the Eastern race up to the minute. The Braves start play today. A game behind the Mets and 4.5 games behind Washington. A club that for the last several years has tormented this Atlanta club and has won 7 of the last 8 head-to-head.
Well, they've definitely had the Braves' number of late, and that was something they were looking to turn around and weren't able to do it last night and find themselves behind here early today against a tough customer. So they've got their work cut out for them.
Got to put some hits together. That fan with the sign, #1 McCann fan, might be tied for first. A bunch of folks.
One ball, one strike. Brian was 0 for 4 last night. It is 2 for 11 against Nationals pitching this season.
He was 0 for 4, but remember there was one that he smoked back through the middle off Detweiler's leg that went right to Espinosa, too. 6th inning, ended the 6th.
Popped up. And Zimmerman comes in from third and makes the play for the first out.
Good hustle by Zimmerman. That was going to be a tough play for Flores.
Andrelton Simmons put a charge in the crowd last night.
On a 1-2 count, tied the game up with this 2-run homer.
His third homer, his 13th RBI, and he's hitting .314.
A lot of old school in Steven Strasburg and some of the things he does, some of his mannerisms. One is after he throws the pitch and follows through and he's down bottom of the front slope of the mound. He just waits there for the throw back from the catcher, and then he kind of meanders back up the mound, kicks around. He's not one of those guys that is already backpedaling up the mound to get the throw.
Right.
Somewhat deliberate, a little bit old-fashioned.
Simmons thought he walked. Instead, it's a 3-2 count.
You know what? That was the same pitch that he threw him the first pitch of this at bat, and he called it a ball.
Which is what frustrates everybody.
Off the facade of the upper deck. A nice catch by a fan. About 25 rows from the field by the Braves on deck circle. Still a 3-2 count for Andrelton Simmons. Fly ball toward right center field, but it's playable by Morse. And sore hamstring and all, Morse able to gallop over and make the catch for the second out.
Good at bat by Andrelton. Should have walked had the right call been made, but a good battle there. Fouled off some good pitches and hit the ball hard. 8 pitch at bat.
Day off for Chipper today at third base, so Francisco gets the start.
Just so I could see it, I'd like for Strasburg to throw him a fastball kind of knee high down and in and just see where one might deposit it.
Two and one. He tried to, Joe. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And like Tom said, the harder changeup is one where he's usually behind in the count and he just wants you to put it in play. This one was 89, which is a little slower than the one I was talking about. One in the 80s is usually a strikeout pitch.
See if he comes back with it right here.
He's getting loose. That one at 96. Strasburg has his 3rd strikeout in his first 1-2-3 inning. Bryce Harper leads off the Washington 3rd. Nationals have an early lead. third inning.
And here's how we got there. First inning, after a leadoff double by Danny Espinoza and Bryce Harper moved him over on a ground ball. Ryan Zimmerman scores Espinoza with the ground ball. Second inning, the athlete, after a leadoff double, helps himself out with a line drive base hit up the middle. Made the score 2-0. And that's where we stand early on in this very hot afternoon here in Atlanta.
So disappointed. Got to tell you up front.
Disappointed?
Disappointed me a little bit.
Why?
When you said the athlete, I thought you were going to talk about Adam LaRoche. Double.
He's a fisherman. He's not an athlete. Or a hunter or something.
Bryce Harper swings the first pitch and skies it a mile high to left. And that's the first out of the Washington third inning.
You know I had to get it in there somewhere.
I know. May not be the last time. Mike Minor's due up first at the bottom of the inning.
Ryan Zimmerman drove home the first run of the day with a ground ball out to second. We mentioned last night, Zimmerman's taken 3 separate cortisone shots in the AC joint of his shoulder. And after his latest injection, he's really swung the bat very well for the Nationals.
Now the AC joint's where the collarbone attaches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right on the top of the shoulder.
And I'll give him credit for taking one and playing, because those ones hurt.
Yeah, but on a 104-degree day, everybody needs an AC joint.
No question.
That injury, though, has got to be a little bit of a concern for Washington, wouldn't you think? I mean, this guy is one of the cornerstones of their franchise. Long-term contract. He's had all kinds of issues with the shoulder, mechanical problems, throwing the baseball, something they've tried to rework for him at third base.
I think that's a mistake. If he were making, 10 throwing errors a month, that'd be different. And if you've noticed, he's pretty much gone back to his kind of sidearm, submarine-y type throws to first. Because last year it was ugly, it looked uncomfortable, and for him unnatural to try to get on top of throws.
I wonder if it maybe made those shoulder problems worse.
Could have.
Or maybe even led to the injury in the first place. I don't know the answer to that, but
I'm sure it's certainly not the kind of thing they want to concede to at this stage of the game, but you got to figure somewhere in the back of their minds they got to be thinking about maybe moving him to first base if he doesn't have to throw so much. Just a question of how much it bothers him on his swing, which if that's the case, then you really have problems.
Minor issues his second walk. That's his first unintentional free pass of the day. And we're looking very close to that dangerous 3-walk mark that spells trouble for Mike Minor in rotation for the Braves. The Cubs will be here for the 4th of July week's celebrations, and we have 2 fireworks spectaculars on July 3rd and the 4th. They're presented by our friends at Publix. Get your tickets, Braves.com, or by phone at 800-745-3000. Mike Morse is centering everything right now.
Has he ever given an explanation for his little peekaboo warm-up swing?
Yeah, his Heisman thing.
Base hit to left.
It's a reminder to hit the ball hard.
It's almost like he's looking. He's like, okay, I'm not really here. You don't see me, ball. You don't see me.
Right. He said it's actually a reminder to stay back when he does that.
Well, it's working for him right now.
I'll say he is throwing the lumber.
13 hits in his last 21 at bats. And already his 5th hit of the series. 2 on, 1 out, and here's LaRoche, who doubled his first time up.
I had Gretchen look it up last night because it seemed to me, it just seemed to me that against Washington, they got base runners on all the time, and I thought that they probably must have an extraordinarily huge number of base runners compared to the Braves in this head-to-head matchup. But that really wasn't the case. It wasn't lopsided. But it just seems like there are never any 3-up and 3-down innings consistently against these guys for Atlanta pitching.
Yeah, the 2 games in this series certainly have had that feel. It just doesn't seem like anything's come easy.
Braves had 1-1-2-3 inning last night. Minor now, 3 balls and a strike. Ball 4 low. That will load the bases, and Minor keeps glaring in at Marvin Hudson. Roger McDowell out to visit.
He's still in a little disbelief on that one. But as I told you at the beginning of the game, Tim McClellan, by numbers of strikeouts to walks, #1 in the league among umpires in terms of more walks than strikeouts, and Marvin Hudson is closely behind that.
Do you have a problem with that pitch, Call?
Actually, I wasn't watching the monitor.
No. You know, I mean, we'll put it this way. He got called a bunch of times last night. And on a 3-0 count, you know, that pitch is called a strike 99% of the time.
But not that time, as Desmond stands in with the bases loaded. 10 for his last 24 with 8 extra base hits, including 2 homers and 7 RBIs. Ground ball up the middle. Ugla to the bag. To first. Double play. Ugla had him played perfectly. And Desmond rolls into a double play, and the Braves out of a big 3rd inning mess. Tomorrow we honor more than 150 members of our nation's military here at Turner Field, and you can help show your appreciation for the troops too. We invite you to arrive early at 11:30 at the Turner Field main gates to line the red carpet and help give the troops a true hero's welcome, and watch as we salute the troops in a pregame on-field ceremony. Hope you'll join us at Turner Field tomorrow as we wrap up the Braves and Nationals series and our tribute to the troops. Mike Minor leads off the Atlanta third. That's the fourth strikeout for Strasburg today.
I don't know if it was because the pitcher was batting, if that had anything to do with it, but he was definitely working faster to him than he was last inning.
He set down 7 straight after back-to-back walks to start the game. Top of the order now for Atlanta, and time for our AT Reverse Trivia question. Tom, you didn't really pick it up. 0-1 on the homestand. Joe and I were 3-0 before you got here. Who holds the Nationals Expos record for most stolen bases in the season? No pressure. Some time to think about it.
I think I picked him yesterday.
That was the first guy that came to my mind.
Tim Raines?
Seems obvious,
Yeah.
though.
My first guess was Otis.
Was it single season? Or, yeah.
Yes. I'd say in order of effectiveness so far, fastball, changeup, and curve. He's kind of overthrowing the curveball at times. First two are in sync.
Seems to be struggling a little bit more with his consistency on the breaking ball for sure.
Yeah, the Braves, while they don't have a hit, are making this man work. He's thrown 52 pitches with 1 out in the third inning. 4 strikeouts and 2 walks was certainly ahead to a pitch count as well. And Bourne walks again. 1 on, 1 out. Here's Prado.
If this umpire is true to form in terms of having a small strike zone, then you would figure that Strasburg would have the better of it today because his command on any given day has been better than Mike Minor's has proven to be. But so far, 3 walks for him.
Right, yeah, you would figure, and also I guess the fact that his stuff is so good that he can get away with being a little bit more in the zone than he probably wants to be.
Right.
Taken low and in. 1 ball, no strikes.
I'd like to see Bourne run here. I know it's a lot more difficult to run on a pitcher who's throwing 95 because the catcher's going to have the ball in his hands a little quicker. But if you guess right on a count, and 1-1 count would be a good pitch to run on, try to get into scoring position.
Two balls and a strike. Runner goes. The pitch was high. The throw to second. Late. Bourne went in very hard at second base, and Espinosa paid the price on the throw from the catcher. 21 steals for Bourne.
Sometimes you got to make things happen against a guy who is so tough. Try to force the action a little bit. Close play, but he swiped it. Got a piece of Espinosa in the process.
Now a hit means a run for Prado. 3-1 count. And another walk. Bourne and Prado have each walked twice.
After he got the ball back from Espinosa, Strasburg kind of bent over back by the rosin bag, almost like he was kind of stretching. Now, it's a very hot day. It'd be hard to tighten up. But it kind of looked like right here, maybe the way he just kind of bent over on his knees, maybe just the heat was part of it.
But Joe, you made the point earlier today. Strasburg's 4-walk game against the Braves came on a very hot, muggy day in this ballpark. It's not muggy, but it's blisteringly hot at Turner Field, and he's walked his 4th man, and we're only in the 3rd inning. Jason Hayward has had a great month, a .353 average in the month of June.
He's a guy I want up there right now. He's swinging it.
Bourne's trying for third, and a fly ball hit to left. That's over the head of Moore. And off the wall, a run is in. Hayward at second. It's a 1-run game.
This was a laser. Down and away, where Jason likes it, where he can get extended. And Tyler Moore, who is not an outfielder by trade, had a little trouble with that BB.
Yeah, it looked like for a minute there, it looked like it was going to be a fly ball double play, but right the step before that, looked like he realized, not where I thought it was going to be.
There's a nifty article on ESPN this morning about Jason Hayward and the different approach that he has taken at the plate this year. Jason, they say, is hitting .462 this season on pitches off the plate, meaning he likes to get his arms extended. But this article also had a stat from his rookie season that was amazing, that this year Jason's not walking as much as he did in his rookie year. He's swinging the bat more. But in his rookie year, he walked 14.6% of his plate appearances. Only 2 other players have had higher walk percentages in their rookie year than Jason Hayward did. Mel Ott and Ted Williams. Now he is indeed swinging it in year 3, and he's cut the Nationals' lead in half.
And Freddie hit a bolt his first time up. And it was caught in deep center by Harper.
This is not the Steven Strasburg we saw in Washington.
No, this is more akin to the one that pitched here. He still got a win, but really didn't deserve it. He was coming out of the game, and the team got a run or two for him in the inning he was leaving.
That's well hit into center field. Harper is there, makes the catch. Prado will tag at third. He will come home and score without a play. We're tied 2-2.
44 for Freddie. Inner third. And keep in mind that Prado sat out last night's game, or most of it, because of a little twinge in his hamstring. So I was a little concerned here, but fortunately Bryce Harper's first thought was to throw to third, kind of double pumped and then came home.
So now Dan Uggla with 2 in and 2 out. After striking out Mike Minor to begin the inning, back-to-back walks to Bourne and Prado, a Hayward double, and a Freddie Freeman sacrifice fly. Hot shot into the left field corner. Here comes Hayward to score. There's that hard contact for Dan Uggla, and the Braves have their first lead.
Something down and out over the plate, maybe around knee high.
Fastball that tailed back over the plate.
And that was hit hard.
And Strasburg with 2 outs is looking like a man searching for a way out right now. Another hard hit ball, and this one flagged down by Espinosa, and that ends the Atlanta 3rd inning. The Braves got a couple of chances to score, and this time they took advantage, scoring 3 times. Hayward and Uggla with RBI doubles.
Three-run inning on a couple of hits. Here's how it happened. Jason Hayward with a couple of guys on. Blistered one over the head of Tyler Moore. That scored Michael Bourne. Moved Prado to third base, where he scored on a sacrifice fly by Freddie Freeman. And then Dan Uggla, a big 2-out double, put the Braves on top. And now it's up to the Braves pitching and defense to change this stat. In the last 5 losses, they've scored in 11 innings. And the opponent has scored the following half inning 7 different times. Need a shutdown inning right here.
And Tyler Moore, the first man to face Mike Minor. Biggest pitch of the game for Mike was the last pitch of the 3rd inning. That double play with the bases loaded kept it a 2-0 game. Now let's see if he can go to work with a lead. He's quickly ahead 0-2.
Well, he's got the right part of the order coming up, bottom third of the order. Boys just gave you a lead. Get out there, be aggressive, get in the strike zone, and as Joe said in the open, get those guys back in the dugout for some rest.
Steven Strasburg walked to the dugout in super slow-mo. I mean, he looked like he was worn out already and threw 25 pitches in the bottom of the third.
Tyler Moore strikes out.
Strasburg walking off the field, and just about every one of his teammates is already in the dugout. And they went right down into the cool part of the tunnel.
This ain't San Diego, fellas. Jesus Flores is the batter. He was intentionally walked to get to Strasburg, and Stephen went up and had an RBI hit.
No, this is more El Centro.
Davey Johnson knows about the heat of Atlanta. He played for the Braves back in the 70s. I believe was one of the men that wore number 6 before Bobby Cox did in his playing days as an Atlanta second baseman. This man's done some damage to the Braves. He's 9 for 21 this year with a couple of homers. Back-to-back strikeouts swinging for Mike Minor. 2 outs. And here are our McDonald's fans of the game. Thank the folks at Turner Field for showing up on the hottest day on record on this date in the city's history.
We've been saying for years nobody can fan like a fan from the South. They know how to do it. It's a good thing they know how today. I think you ought to walk Strasburg right here.
Make him run the bases for a while?
Yeah, absolutely. Put him on.
I was thinking as this inning got underway, probably the last thing Stephen wanted to do was have to hit after that real long third inning.
There are times, Tom, and I've heard you talk about Mike Minor before, about how you wished you had his stuff, because it's such a good combination of fastball, changeup, and his breaking ball. But there are times when he throws his breaking ball in particular, and I think the word I want is conviction. It just doesn't look like he's really on it and into it, and it just kind of slurs out of his hand.
Yeah, kind of. You know, he's throwing his. You're right. He throws his fastball and his changeup with purpose. Like he knows where he wants it to go. He knows the result he's looking for. And with his changeup, I mean, his curveball is a little bit more of a. I just kind of want to throw it in there for a strike and not really make a mistake with this pitch. You know,
really guides it.
Oh,
wow! I was just kidding.
But Strasburg does indeed walk with 2 outs.
And that's all right.
Freddie Gonzalez can't believe it.
Little low, I guess. But he's over there at first. He's got to run.
Espinosa bats. And takes a called strike. Popped him up. Simmons and Ugla. Michael Bourne calls everybody off. Espinosa, the third and final out of the fourth inning. The Braves maintain their 3-2 lead. Washington manager, the Washington Defensive Club is on the field, but no sign yet of Steven Strasburg.
Well, he's already made the point to the bullpen. And I think he went out to talk to Marvin Hudson about needing enough time for Chien-Ming Wang to come out and warm up, given whatever heat problems Strasburg had. If I'm Freddie Gonzalez, I say, hey, hang with him. You shouldn't get extra time. I mentioned walk him and make him run the bases. He stood there with a helmet on and gloves, and this was on the pop-up, so he wasn't exactly running out the pop-up, and then walked all the way back to the dugout. He's gassed.
Yeah, he looks wrung out. Mm-hmm. He really does. So now, is this technically an injury, or is it merely a pitching change? Again, Davey Johnson is going out, and he's going to talk with Tim McClellan just to make sure that everybody's on the same page here.
Well, and Marvin Hudson's over talking to Freddie Gonzalez about it. But again, if I'm Freddie, I don't know if this qualifies as an injury where he gets enough time. I don't know if I would buy into that.
So Marvin Hudson and Tim McClellan now make their way to the Braves dugout. They may go get some shade, but first they'll talk about Strasburg coming out of the ballgame in most unusual circumstances.
I can understand the extenuating circumstances of the heat, but hang with them. If they felt like Strasburg was in some distress from the heat, then maybe they should have pinch hit for him or had Chien-Ming Wang warming up sooner.
Well, the only odder thing that I've ever seen on a hot day like this was when I was working with the Cubs, and it was a 106-degree day at Wrigley Field. Roy Oswalt was pitching for Houston that day, and the umpires allowed him to go to the mound with a bottle of water in his back pocket, and he pitched. I've never seen that before.
Nor have I.
And so now Tim McClellan's talking with the rest of the umpiring crew. Marvin Hudson is nowhere to be seen. I guess he's in the Braves dugout while Chien-Ming Wang takes apparently as much time as he needs to get loose.
Yeah, he's not out there counting pitches.
So Strasburg departs, 3 innings, 4 walks, 3 runs. He allowed just 2 hits. And Chien-Ming Wang in for the 7th game this season.
Well, we saw Detweiler last night. Detweiler went to the bullpen to make room for Wong, who came off the disabled list, but he pitched so poorly that he and Detweiler traded places.
So the Heat gets to Strasburg. Braves knock him out of the game with a little help from Mother Nature. Strasburg 2 hits, 3 runs in his 3 innings, 4 walks as well. 2 of those 4 have scored. And now the bottom part of the order will come up against the veteran right-hander Chien-Ming Wang, who is a former 19-game winner with the New York Yankees.
When Davy Johnson was out on the field, when he went out to tell the umpires, look behind Randy Knorr, number 53. There is Strasburg with his hands up like, what's going on? And he's talking to his pitching coach, Steve McCaddy, almost like Strasburg was planning on going back out. And then he saw Johnson point to the bullpen, and that was it. So he might have been the most surprised guy in the dugout.
Well, that's one way to limit your innings and keep them below 160 for a year, isn't it? So I'm sure Davy Johnson will be asked to explain his decision in Game 2 of the series. If it is Heat related, of course, if we find out, we'll pass that along. So Chien-Ming Wang says he's ready to go, and he'll face Simmons, Francisco, and Mike Minor. Andrelton 0 for 1 today. He lined out to right. How big an adjustment is it, fellas, to go from Strasburg to Chien-Ming Wang now?
The biggest adjustment is going to be sitting back and waiting for him to finish his windup. I mean, the stuff's certainly not the same. You know, he's been known over the years for a sinker, but obviously that pitch hasn't been there for him, or he wouldn't have been moved to the bullpen.
With a 6.5 ERA, he must be getting the ball up a little bit. So that's what the Braves will try to do. Used to be a mid-90s guy with his fastball. Now he's low 90s at best. Last pitch, 89.
That's bounced off the plate. Zimmerman makes the play, and late as Simmons belly flops in with a slide at first base.
An interesting play.
My first reaction is with Simmons' speed, why would you play that ball? Just let it go foul. You're not going to throw him out. But
right. And I was watching the umpires, and they had a tough call to make there because he caught the ball in the air. I mean, he had jumped in the air, and you had got to kind of guess if it's still in fair territory when it hit the glove.
Andrelton happy with a leadoff hit. Now Francisco, the hitter, he struck out his first and only time up. 1 ball, 1 strike. And now 1-2. All season long, Braves baseball on Peachtree TV is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day.
Joe, I don't think your in, out, in keys to the game for Mike Minor would work so good for Chien-Ming Wang.
No.
He didn't seem to be in too much of a hurry to make any pitches. Almost like if I go nice and slow, I won't sweat.
Well, I know this was times where I was standing in the outfield, and I don't know if the pitcher could hear me, but I was screaming.
Let's
throw the ball.
There's a shot in the right field corner. It dies at the base of the fence. Simmons around third, will be green lighted. The throw comes towards second. 4-2. It may take a while for the ball to get to the plate from Chien-Ming Wang, but that ball didn't take long to get to the right field fence.
The pitch before, he had fouled one down the line a little bit, and it was down just enough that he couldn't get under it. This one was out over the plate enough that he could square it up. And I'll say this for Juan Francisco. He doesn't play that often, and his average isn't quite what it was at the beginning of the year, but the ball jumps off his bat. And Andrelton Simmons, another part of his repertoire, good speed, good base running.
Minor shows bunt and takes a strike. It's 0-1.
That's 17 RBIs for Francisco and 109 at bats that are spotty at best in terms of consistency.
Throw back towards second is high. And Minor, no balls, 2 strikes. The bunt is down, and there's only 1 play. Francisco at third on a Mike Minor sacrifice.
With 2 strikes on him, too. Good job. Kept the bat level at the top of the zone and very still. Helped himself out there. Braves can add another run for him here.
Washington has walked Bourne twice. Michael has scored once. He's also stolen a base. Infield in with 1 out. Ball 1.
closing in on last year's total, and we're not even at the halfway point.
Michael looking for his 100th hit of the season. Speaking of not being at the halfway point, great chance to get a 200 hit year. 0-2. That's number 100. Michael Bourne on his way to second. The throw is late. A double for Bourne.
Getting them up.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a sinker or a changeup or what it was, but it was up, and Michael drove it past the drawn-in Zimmerman at third base for, as Chip mentioned, his 100th hit of the season.
And it's now a 5-2 game. Flores can't find it, and Bourne's at third base.
Braves are 3 for 7 today with runners in scoring position, and all the hits are doubles.
In the air, deep center. Harper going back, turned the wrong way, but makes the catch at the edge of the track. Martin Prado with a sacrifice fly. 6-2.
Kimbrell was a 19-game winner for the Yankees and had that good life on his fastball. When you're throwing 93, 94 with a heavy sinker, that's tough stuff. When you're throwing 88 and it's just not sinking, or it's actually dying at the plate where they're not offering, and then you've got to elevate the pitch to get a strike. It's a bad combination.
And the Braves have touched him for 3 fourth-inning runs. Remember, this inning started with Steven Strasburg being surprisingly taken down by skipper Davey Johnson. And on this 104-degree day, the Washington defense has been on the field for the last 11 minutes, not counting the delay in getting Strasburg out of the game and Chien-Ming Wang in from the bullpen. High fly to right. Morse going back at the warning track. At the wall, will have room. And he makes the play to retire the side. A big inning for Atlanta. 3 runs on 3 hits. It's now 6-2 Braves in game 2. Mike Minor has outlasted Steven Strasburg so far today.
Yeah, Mike got off to a little bit of a sketchy start, gave up single runs in the first 2 innings, gave up leadoff doubles in each of those innings, but he was able to settle in and not give up any more than that in those 2 innings, and the offense got to Steven Strasburg in the 3rd inning. 3 runs there, and then 3 this past inning off Chin-Ming Wong.
So Mike now leads by 4 runs with Bryce Harper leading off. And he swings at the first pitch. Dan Uggla to his right. Gets his man by a step. 1 out. Harper's 0 for 3. Back to our AT Uverse trivia question. Remember, the Nationals used to be the Expos. So who holds the Nationals/Expos record for most stolen bases in a single season?
I'm going to stick with Tim Raines.
I'm going with Delino DeShields.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
I'll go way back and say Ron LaFleur.
Well, he cheated.
I did not cheat.
You had to.
No way.
97.
97 stolen bases. Remember Ron LaFleur?
I didn't even know he played for them.
Wow. Way to go, Chip. We're rich.
Balls, 2 strikes to Ryan Zimmerman. Term Freddie Gonzalez has used with some of his young pitchers is that he wants to see growth from Mike Minor and Randall Delgado. He also challenged the staff at the start of this homestand to try to get the game deeper. Go 6, go 7 innings. As a pop fly in right will be handled by Hayward. 2 outs. Part of that is sometimes a pitcher, Joe, will get in trouble and start looking for help from the bullpen. Mike Minor had all kinds of trouble in the 3rd inning and made the biggest pitch of the game, getting that double play ball to keep the Nationals' run total at 2.
I think we've seen several games from Mike Minor where he's given up some runs early and had that look on his face like, oh no, here we go again, and hasn't been able to overcome that. This could be a real benchmark game for him. And giving up 2 runs early against a team that the Braves haven't beaten in seems like forever, especially here at Turner Field, and get out of that inning and then get some run support. Let's see how far he can take it.
And Tommy, historically, you're a guy that would give up early runs. When did you learn that, okay, well, that's not ideal, let's pull my back a little bit?
I think after a while, for me, it was just the kind of thing where, I got sick of talking about it, sick of dealing with it, and just, tried not to think about it. Go out there and pitch. And if it happens, it happens. And if it does, move on.
And Mike has certainly done that. Francisco throws out Michael Morse. 3 up, 3 down in the top of our 5th inning on a steamy Saturday at Turner Field. By Hyundai, by the Home Depot, and by Georgia Power. Atlanta's in good shape so far. They head to the bottom of the fifth inning, leading the Nationals 6-2. And we will wrap up the series here tomorrow on Sunday Braves, beginning at 1 o'clock Eastern Time.
Pretty good matchup there tomorrow afternoon. Tim Hudson, Gio Gonzalez. Huddy's had a good run against the Nationals, 14-4 in 24 starts, and Gio Gonzalez had a little success against the Braves as well, so should be a good matchup.
And that was our Jameson in upcoming schedule as Freddie Freeman singles to start the Braves' fifth inning. Tomorrow also a big deal around Major League Baseball. The All-Star teams will be announced. And that announcement will come down at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Last vote, Dan Uggla was the leading vote getter among second basemen in the National League.
So it's still the same they used to do, where everybody gets named tomorrow, and then there's one player that gets picked by the. So we'll have to wait a couple days on that.
Yeah.
So it'll be an exciting day tomorrow for a lot of guys, and a lot of guys will be ticked off tomorrow.
Swing and a miss by Uggla. Asking Dan last night what he was hoping to get today, some hard contact, and he blistered a baseball in the third inning for an RBI double. And that hit gave the Braves a 3-2 lead that they have added to. It's now 6-2.
Then 4 for 8 in his career against Chien-Ming Wang. And it's a whole lot easier when you've been getting some hits to go up against a guy you've had good luck against, because you know you're swinging the bat well and you're saying to yourself, this guy can't beat me. It's not necessarily the same when you've been scuffling a little bit. But I'm sure that double did wonders for Dan's confidence.
Came against Strasburg, a man he's hit very hard, by the way. Dan now 7 for 13 against Strasburg in his career. Now facing Chien-Ming Wang and behind in the count. And the word from the Nationals locker room is that Strasburg did leave with heat-related issues.
Well, maybe that walk contributed to it, you know, getting him out there with a helmet on and gloves. Even for a couple of extra pitches.
High pop on the infield and in foul ground for Adam LaRoche. And there's the first out. That'll bring up Brian McCann, and we remind you that Delta Airlines is a proud sponsor of the Atlanta Braves.
Did you hear Mike Morse in right field?
No.
Throw the ball.
That's down the left field line. That is a foul ball. And into the Washington bullpen. It's 0-2.
Brian's really had some tough luck. And, you know, it's just not like him to be hitting 230, but man, oh man, he's had some line drives like the one that was caught his last time up to end the third inning, that shot that Espinosa caught. Ground ball off the pitcher last night that went to Espinosa, missing an extra base hit there by inches. He needs a bloop somewhere.
2.
Some things just evened out a little bit.
Bouncing ball. A look to second. And the stretch by LaRoche at first gets Brian McCann. And Freeman at second with 2 outs. Georgia Power customers can get a free in-home energy audit performed by an energy expert from Georgia Power. Learn how to save money and energy around your home. Schedule an in-home energy audit. Go to georgiapower.com. We hope our friends at Georgia Power are having a comfortable time dealing with this heat and humidity all across the southeast. Perhaps a better time than the folks up in Washington, D.C. They had horrible storms up there yesterday. And there are lots of people without power in our nation's capital today. With broiling mid-90s temperatures. 1 ball, 1 strike to
a lot of people up there without power.
What do you mean by that?
Bad storms.
Oh. Well, at least they're not getting to see this game, which probably hasn't been an exciting one for Nationals fans.
Infield hit for Andrelton in 2 trips today, and he scored the 4th Braves run. He's got a good chance for a 10th multi-hit game this year. Line drive to center. He's got it. Here comes Freeman around third. Harper's throw to the plate is short. Andrelton Simmons an RBI hit. And that makes it 7-2 Atlanta. A single, an RBI, and Simmons takes second on Bryce Harper's throw toward the plate.
And Bryce Harper stood with both feet planted, staring in at home plate for a long time after this play was completed, wondering why Flores came out to get this baseball. They first of all moved Harper defensively right to the right spot. They positioned him in that spot for that base hit. He came up firing, and it looked like it was on line from my angle, right to the plate.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to get there in time.
So 7 runs on 7 Atlanta hits. And a bouncing ball to short. Desmond's got it. And that retires the side. Braves have scored 3 in the 3rd, 3 in the 4th, 1 more here in the 5th, and have a big lead at home over Washington. in Strasburg chased from the game with heat-related symptoms, as well as the Braves picking up 3 runs in the 3rd inning.
After 1 out, he walked 2 batters, his 3rd and 4th walks of the day. And then Jason Hayward made him pay with a double, drove in 1. Freddie Freeman drove in 1 with a sac fly, and Dan Ugla broke out of his slump with a double and drove in a run. And then after having to run the bases after a walk, Strasburg was taken out of the game, and the Braves started picking on Chin-Ming Wong. Simmons, Francisco, and Bourne all with hits, and sac fly from Martin Prado. And just moments ago, an RBI single from Andrelton Simmons plated Freddie Freeman, who had led off the inning with a base hit. So a nice turnaround to this ball game when it didn't look so good after 2 innings.
Miners into the 6th now and delivers a strike to Adam LaRoche. May not seem like a big deal, but some shadows now have crossed the 3rd baseline, and the entire home plate area is now in shadow. Might be some relief for the catchers and the home plate umpire, Marvin Hudson. 0-2. Medlin getting ready for the Braves. Miner with 78 pitches. Throw that out the window on a day like today, right, Tommy?
It feels like 178 right now, probably.
Well, I'm really happy for him. He's done a great job after getting that double play in the 3rd inning.
He made the big pitch, got the double play, and then it was from there. It was like, you saw Strasburg getting affected by the heat a little bit, and it was almost like, okay, here's my opening, and he took advantage of it.
And that's what you guys were talking about in the open. You get a chance against the first place team, you got to take advantage of it. They did today.
Didn't look so good after the 1st inning when he walked the first 2 guys, Strasburg, and the Braves weren't able to advance them, but they made those walks in the 3rd inning pay.
And Miner barely missed on the last 2 pitches and issues a leadoff walk to LaRoche. That's his 5th walk of the game. And we hope you'll plan a gentleman's night out at Turner Field with the new Braves Buddy Pack. Get as many as 12 tickets to a game, and every ticket comes preloaded with a $15 credit for food and drinks. Visit Braves.com/buddy today for your Buddy Pack tickets. I will say Hudson's been very consistent behind the plate.
Yeah.
However, this is the kind of game where fans who hate the idea of Questek have a legitimate beef.
Oh, yeah. 104 degrees. You didn't come out here and watch. Didn't come out here and watch the umpire call balls.
Strasburg walked 4. Miners walked 5. And the pitches that Mike has missed with have missed by a 32nd of an inch, it seems. Driven in the air to right center field. That's going to get down and roll to the fence. LaRoche around second, doesn't run well, and he'll be stopped by Bo Porter after Ian Desmond rips a double with nobody out. So the Nationals come roaring back, 2nd and 3rd, not out in their 6th inning.
You think how different this game might have been if that's what he did his last time up instead of hit into that 6-3 double play.
And Freddie Gonzalez will go get Mike Miner after 85 pitches on a triple-digit temperature day in Atlanta. Nice ovation from the crowd at Turner Field. Miner departs. Braves bullpen in play, leading 7-2. by McDonald's, by the Georgia Lottery, by AT Uverse, and by Ram Trucks. Washington's threatening in the 6th inning. 2 on, nobody out. Mike Minor's day is done. 5+ innings of 2-run baseball. Now Chris Medlin answers the AT&T call to the bullpen.
Chris worked an inning last night, gave up a couple of hits, but no runs, struck out a batter. Nice job of hanging in there after some early troubles for Mike Minor.
Tyler Moore with a swinging strike. Joe mentioned earlier that Moore is not an outfielder by trade. He's listed by the Nationals media guide as a first baseman. Just turned 25 years old, was a 16th round draft choice by Washington back in 2008. And a ground ball up the middle. Uggla flags it down. Long throw is off target. Freeman off the bag, saved an error, and a run is in for the Nationals. It's 7-3, and runners are at the corners. Still nobody out.
Tell you what, some of this Anderson Simmons range is rubbing off on Dan. How far on the third base side of second he was to get that.
Yeah, I didn't really see where he was playing prior to the pitch, but I was shocked to see him be the one field that ball right there.
Here's Flores.
See if Chris can get the catcher to swing at one of his changeups and start a double play ball.
Nope. Line drive to left. That makes it a 7-4 game. Stopping at second is Moore. Flores with his 13th RBI. This game's getting a little too close for comfort. Rick Keel grabs a bat. He'll hit with 2 on and nobody out.
And like you said earlier, Chip, Flores continues to work Braves pitchers over.
So 4 runs for Minor in his 5 innings today. The runners aboard belong to Medlin and Keel, the hitter.
Flores has 13 RBIs, 5 against Atlanta.
And remember, he wasn't the everyday guy. That was Wilson Ramos, who hurt himself. Nationals have gone 20-12 since Flores took over behind the plate. One ball, 2 strikes. And Keel played for the Braves back in 2010. Hit a couple of homers, drove in 9 runs.
And hit a huge postseason homer against the Giants.
Ground ball toward Ugla. Simmons for one. The peg to first, a double play. And Keel's doubled up. Moore's at third base, and the top of the order is coming up with 2 outs.
See, this is the type of play that I appreciate on Andrelton Simmons so much, and where he's beyond his years. Guys with good arms want to show him off, and sometimes don't need to. Last night he made a mistake, admitted to trying to pick off LaRoche, didn't need to try to make that extra throw. Well, on this double play, he had all the time in the world. He just needed to make an accurate throw and get the ball out of his glove first, and then make the accurate throw, and he did for the double play. Smart heads-up play.
This is a big out in this game. That's a big run at third base. Big difference between a 3-run lead and a 2-run lead late. Let's see if Chris can get Espinoza, who's doubled and scored in 3 trips. And Espinosa's down on strikes. Washington strikes for 2 runs in the 6th inning, but Mike Minor and the Braves still lead it. Our score heading to the bottom half of the frame is Atlanta 7, Washington 4.
Coors Light freeze cam and the cold train. Boy, it'd be nice to have a cold train come through here right now. That's what all the fans are hoping for from Homer. Temperatures approaching right at 110 degrees on the field. People trying to figure out ways to cool off with fans, drinks. And in the case of Jerry Krause, one of our camera operators, just dumped a whole bucket of water on yourself. Hang in there, Jer. Don't blame you a bit.
So Washington goes to its bullpen again. It's left-hander Tom Gorzelati, 23rd outing for Tom this season.
Left-hander, some good stuff that we saw originally with the Pirates and the Cubs last year. Low 90s fastball. Also a slider and a changeup.
Chris Medlin's going to stay in the game and bat for Atlanta to lead things off. Pretty nifty to look up at your picture on the scoreboard, Tommy, and see a 500 batting average, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's that like?
Not bad. I mean, I'm sure I've had it once or twice in my career. Probably had a few guys that were hitting 500 off of me.
I know where he was headed with that. That's okay.
Not on a hot day.
He directed it to you.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Sorry.
You know, I mentioned your small hands one time. Well, twice.
Now 3. But who's counting? 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Chris, a good hitting pitcher. Played shortstop even in junior college.
Oh, diving play by Zimmerman robbed him of a hit.
What a shame. Zaxby's indescribably good play is one made to rob Chris Medlin of a base hit. Nice play by Zimmerman. And again, this is more his natural throwing motion.
A strike to Michael Bourne, who has scored twice today. He's been on base twice with a walk and then doubled home a run in the 4th inning for the Braves. Bourne bunts that ball, and I believe he was out of the batter's box and will be called out. Freddie Gonzalez will come out and argue with Marvin Hudson. Bourne's going to argue too.
I got to admit, I thought from up here and from our vantage point, it looked like he was out of the box. It'd be nice if he'd asked for a little help.
I think they just discreetly kind of pointed down towards third base, and he rung him up. So
did he?
Yeah.
You're out of the box. The ball hits you.
He's not out of the box.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't out of the box. But the ball hung up in his body or his jersey long enough that he looked out by the time the ball dropped. Tough break.
So the catcher Flores gets credit for the putout. Michael's perfect day at the plate comes to an end. Now the bases are empty. 2 outs for Martin Prado. Prado's walked twice, scored once, and has an RBI on a sacrifice fly. Line drive down the right field line. Fair ball. '21st double for Martin Prado.
Well, I sure hope on Sunday, tomorrow, when they announce the All-Star team, even though it was obvious he was not going to be selected by the fans, the players and coaches put this guy on the field.
He deserves it, that's for sure. Not much more you could expect out of him.
No.
Martin's 7th in the league in hitting. 30 multi-hit games. With his runs scored today, has scored 45 times. That's the 3rd highest on the Braves team. He's played second, he's played first, he's played third, he's played left.
Other than Bourne, who's scored more runs? Ugla?
It is Dan Ugla, 51. Coming into play today. 2 balls, no strikes. Jason check to swing. Orsolani asks for an appeal, will not get one. 3 balls, no strikes.
No, he didn't. Strong enough to stop that one.
And that's high, ball 4. First and second for the Braves with 2 outs. All year long, Braves baseball on Peachtree TVs, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, low price every day. Sharply hit, bobbled by LaRoche, but Orsolani covers the first base bag, and that ends the Braves' 6th inning. 7-4 your score. It is a hot day, and Atlanta leads 7-4 after 6. Mike Minor in line to beat Steven Strasburg. Big day at the top of the order for Michael Bourne. Big day at the bottom for Andrelton Simmons.
Did that thermometer say 114 down there behind the cameras?
Cooling off.
Yeah. It's in the shade now. That helps.
Tommy, you want us to get your jacket?
Yeah, it's getting cold.
1 ball, no strikes for Bryce Harper. One more day left in June. As Harper pops one up to short, Andrelton Simmons will handle this one. Baseball trading deadline is lurking here in the next couple of weeks. We might be starting to see some player movement around Major League Baseball. One notable name, rumor has it, is maybe headed to the Dodgers, and that's Carlos Lee. Apparently Houston and the Dodgers have worked out a trade. They would send Lee to Los Angeles, but Carlos has not yet agreed to that move to L.A.
Dodgers have been shut out for the last 5 days. They got to do something. They don't know when Kemp will be back. They're hoping after the All-Star break. Ethier's not on the DL, but has a strained oblique, so even if he comes back, he might re-injure that. Their offense in dire need of some help.
There was a stat about the Dodgers, to your point, Joe, which was shocking. Jose Bautista of Toronto has 14 homers.
This month?
This month, yeah. That equals the season totals for the 8 guys that started for L.A. Friday night. So you're exactly right. They are looking for some pop, and that's a major reason why Dodgers' big lead out west is gone, and they're trailing the Giants by a game.
Another deal that was being reported was Jim Thome being traded from the Phillies to Baltimore, and that it was pretty much a done deal and would be announced after the games were completed for those two teams today.
Zimmerman down on strikes. 2 outs. You can understand that from the Phillies' perspective. Ryan Howard has begun to play minor league rehab games. He had a game yesterday at A-ball. He's going to be coming back sooner rather than later. There really isn't a position for Thome. And the Phillies are in last place. They're 10 back at the start of play today. And they're losing again today in Miami.
When do they expect to get Roy Halladay back? Have they said?
Joe Vincius, our producer, says that Halladay threw a bullpen session yesterday. A logical guess would be after the break. But that's only a guess as Morse lines one into the seats foul. 0-2. Their big question is, what do you do with Cole Hamels? Can you sign him? He's a free agent at the end of the season.
You're going to be looking for big money, that's for sure.
And another line drive off Morse's bat, this one on an 0-2 pitch. And Morse 2 for 4 today.
Sometimes when a guy's hot, you just need to tell him what's coming. Not a whole lot else you can do. I know Don Sutton always tells that story about Rance Mulliniks, how he could never get Rance Mulliniks out. So he finally just started having his catcher tell him what was coming, and that seemed to work. Because Rance didn't know whether to believe him or not.
I should have tried that with a few guys.
2 outs for LaRoche. Adam has walked, doubled, scored twice. And it's a towering fly ball down the left field line. And that's out of play. One more game with the Nationals here tomorrow. Then the Cubs come to town for a 4-game series. That takes us through the 4th of July. And then we wrap up the first half of the season with the Phillies. It's coming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Citizens Bank Park.
Hard to believe that's our first trip in there.
Yep. But we'll make one in July, one in August, one in September against the Phillies. McCann can't find it. Morse at second.
Off the plate and off the arm.
It's a wild pitch. And it's now a final in Miami. The Phillies fall to the Marlins 3-2.
Good fastball from Chris there, 91. Two-seamer that was running back over the inside corner. LaRoche gave up on it.
Line drive to center. Leaping try by Bourne, and he can't get it. It's over his head and up against the fence. Morse scores. And now it's a 7-5 game.
One of the things that you're in a game like this, and you get two quick outs. Morse gets a base hit, and then it seems like it's an innocuous wild pitch. Nothing. Shake on when I said innocuous.
Big word. That was nice.
That it doesn't seem like a whole lot, but all of a sudden you wind up giving up a run that you never anticipated this inning, and it closes the gap, and all of a sudden it's a 2-run game. And I'm going to guess that Michael Bourne had a hard time seeing this ball off the bat in the shadow.
Yeah, when you saw him stutter step, you knew he was in trouble.
So the Nationals draw a run closer. 7-5 your score. Sports and Outdoors. 7-5. Braves lead with a man aboard and 2 out. Ian Desmond the batter. Chad Durbin answers the AT call to the bullpen.
Chad, you might remember, came in last night, and after the Braves had tied the game up, that first pitch to Michael Morse hit out of the ballpark. Second straight night the Braves had lost on a home run after Kimbrell's home run allowed Chris Young the night before.
And that is a rare happening indeed for the Braves. The last time they lost 2 games in a row on homers was back in 2008, the start of the season, against Washington. Peter Moylan and Blaine Boyer were the Braves pitching victims on those days. Now let's see if Durbin has good stuff. Let's see if he can strand an inherited runner, keep the game in the Braves' favor as we battle on in the 7th inning.
Bullpens that have given up the most homers, the Blue Jays with 35, but the Braves with 28 now.
That's part of what we talked about last night too, was the record of these 2 teams in the last 2 games and the big differential in the 2 bullpens between their ERAs. The Nationals certainly figured something out against the Braves bullpen, and you would figure that that would be an area where they would have a big advantage.
That part of Chad's game has been spot on all year long.
Dangerous pitch, 3 balls and a strike.
Yeah, to their best clutch hitter. They already have 5 2-out RBIs in this series.
Another walk. This one to Desmond.
And all of a sudden, after 2 out, nobody on, the tying run is on base. And be careful on the first pitch to this guy. He hasn't got enough at bats to qualify for first pitch swings. But he is an ambusher.
Chad ahead of him quickly, 0-2. No way that's getting called today.
Not a chance.
You're right, Chris. It was close. Could have been.
From 0-2 to 3-2.
And by doing that, what you've done is give a slow runner at second base a real head start. So on a base hit, he'll score easily, and that's LaRoche. Otherwise, he might have had a problem. And that was ball 4.
Don't need to see another one of those. We've already had 11 walks combined in this game.
Well, and I think that was something I mentioned about Marvin Hudson at the beginning. More walks than strikeouts in one of his typical games.
And there's another one. It loads the bases. Now Roger McDowell out for another visit. Rogers in pre-training for the Peachtree Road Race today.
Yes, he is. Sorry, Chip. O'Flaherty is up in the Braves bullpen now. Here's that man Flores. 2 of his 3 homers against Atlanta and 5 of his 13 RBIs.
Ball 1. No place to put Flores. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You know about the Braves' good record when they lead after 6 innings. But for Washington, when they trail after 6, they have more wins than anybody else in the National League.
Davey Johnson's club split a series with the Rockies at Coors Field. Trying to come back in Game 2 in Atlanta. And a roller left side. Francisco flips to second in time. And that retires the side. Washington settles for 1 in the 7th. We stretch. Atlanta leads 7-5. Bottom of the 7th. Braves could use a few more runs tonight.
That's a game filled with runs in Game 2 here. 12 runs, 17 hits. Braves capitalizing on some opportunities. Had a big 3-run inning in the 3rd, 3-run inning in the 4th. Andrelton Simmons with an RBI in the 5th. But the Nationals have come back to make a game of it. And as Joe Vinces, our producer, said, when you're talking about lumber, you talk about Home Depot. And to us from the dugout. First 6 games against the Nationals, 17 total runs. Today, 7. Braves have scored 7 runs on 8 hits and have not hit a homer.
Well, maybe Dan can change that. Had a day off yesterday, back in the saddle today with a 1-for-3 afternoon. And a cue shot toward first. And Borzolani with the put out at the first base bag. 1 down. Popped up 1-2. Braves trying to finish up June with a winning month. Considering the caliber of competition and the number of winning teams they've had to play, that would be a great accomplishment. A stretch of 44 games in a row against winning teams before we saw Arizona.
Yeah, and they were at 500.
Right. Braves had split those right down the middle. And more importantly, a win today would shave a game off the Nationals' lead over the Braves. It stands at 4.5, pending the outcome of today's play. And a fly ball to center. And 2 out. Braves will also hope for some help from the Dodgers. They entertain the Mets tonight. New York is 1 game ahead of the Braves in the East. The Phillies have already lost to the Marlins. Miami's 8 back. The Phillies are 10.5 back, and apparently are trading Jim Thome to Baltimore.
Mets have Johan Santana on the mound tonight.
Ground ball off the glove of Zimmerman. Long throw, but too late to get Simmons. Another multi-hit game for the kid shortstop. 2 singles already. Let's wait and see on this one.
Base hit.
I gave him a hit already.
I look at it like this. It was going to be a double if he doesn't get his glove in front of it. And then you see what a difficult time Simmons had, or Zimmerman rather, has trying to throw out Simmons by having to come over the top and put something on that throw. Not much there.
It was ruled an infield hit. And it comes with 2 outs. Here's Francisco. Juan has doubled. He has scored a run. He's knocked in a run. Big day tomorrow in Atlanta. Hudson versus Gonzalez. That wraps up the series with Washington. We'll have our tribute to the troops at the ballpark. We'll have the announcement of the National and American League All-Stars at 1 o'clock.
And remember to be out in Center Field Plaza at 11:30 for the red carpet.
Thinking with the service members at the ballpark that green shirts tomorrow might be a good call. They're not camouflage green, but
Hunter Green, Kelly Green. Where are you going?
I mean,
Green.
we have kind of our lime electric greens, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I have one of those.
Green's good.
Tribute to the troops.
If you get here early, I'll make them all into camo for you.
One ball, 2 strikes for Juan Francisco. And that ends the 7th inning. We go to the 8th. 7-5. The Braves still lead it. boss, Hammond Reynolds, with his lovely wife, Deanna, enjoying Game 2 of this series between the Braves and the first-place Washington Nationals. Roger Bernardino's grabbed a bat. Appears he'll lead things off and into Washington 8th.
And as he was announced, Freddie Gonzalez bolted out of the dugout.
So Durbin, a couple of walks in 1/3 of an inning's worth of work. And it's Eric O'Flaherty coming out of the Braves pen. AT called to the bullpen. It's now Eric O'Flaherty's turn to pitch, and he'll face former Brave Mark DeRosa.
.329 ERA. Just looking at his work. And I thought he worked last night, but he did not. He worked the last game of the Arizona series, 1/3 of an inning.
Been rough go for DeRosa. 4 hits in 39 at bats. More walks than strikeouts. And this is his first pinch hit appearance of the season.
Battled a lot of injuries the last several years, a lot of hand and wrist injuries. Great to see him back in town. He still makes his offseason home here, he and his wife Heidi and their kids. But I'd sure like to see him ground out, and I'll clap for him all the way back to the dugout.
Absolutely. And he can get hot next week.
Yeah.
Very popular player amongst the Braves.
I don't believe what I just saw.
I don't either.
Neither does D-Row, probably.
A called 3rd strike, 1 away in the 8th.
Big sweeper, looked like maybe it came at least close enough. Had to come pretty close, or he wouldn't have called it.
So a good start for Eric in the top of the order now in Espinoza. He's 1 for 4.
It's only the second called 3rd strike of the day, by my count. Ugla was rung up in the 1st inning.
So I've got 2 as the pitch popped back toward us by Espinoza. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, we felt history today at Turner Field. First pitch official temperature was 104. At 3 o'clock Eastern Time, the mercury hit 106 degrees in Atlanta. It was the hottest day anywhere in the state of Georgia. Ever. Chopper towards short. Simmons got the hop and showed off the arm. 2 outs. Good play.
Not just the record for today, for this date, but ever anywhere.
That's what I'm told, ever.
Wow. It was like turning a double play ball there for Andrelton.
So here's Harper. And we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Harper has a 6-game hitting streak working against the Braves. He's 0 for 4 today.
Okay, now Eric had a chance there on that. They already gave him a new baseball, but he could have put them both in his glove. Nobody would have known the difference over which one he threw out. Did you ever pull any shenanigans like that?
Of course.
And why wouldn't you?
I'm not sure guys nowadays know how to use it. I used to, Javi was in here the other night. I used to yell at him all the time because he'd throw a ball in the dirt or a foul ball, and the umpire wouldn't be asking for it, and he'd be holding it up to the umpire, and I'm like, don't give that thing back to him. If he don't ask for it, give it back to me. The other thing that was good, too, was Blauser. He used to be great at, when we would throw the ball down to second base, he would take the ball they had for infield and keep it in his glove and throw it back to us. Every once in a while, I'd get a ball back, and I'd just look at him. I'm going, really? You want me to use this thing? Grady Little told me that one year in spring training. He said, son, don't ever give a ball back that has a scuff on it. I said, why? So then he showed me how to use it, and I was like, oh, okay.
There's a guy just a booth over that knew how to use one like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Home Depot and Black & Decker.
Fly ball center. Bourne on the run. Tracks it down. 2 steps onto the warning track. Harper gave it a ride, but he's 0 for 5, and this game moves to the last of the 8th inning with the Braves ahead 7-5. Five is your score as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning, and the ever popular Mike Gonzalez is on for the 14th time for Washington.
former Brave as well. Just joined their club about the time we were in Washington for that first visit. He signed him to a minor league contract. He was getting in some work and worked himself into shape. He just found a spot in their bullpen. 3 lefties down there: Gonzalez, Burnett, and Gorzolani.
It's a nice luxury to have. And Matt Diaz, pinch hitting, is down a quick strike. Diaz, Bourne, and Prado. Another run would be nice here. It's 7-5, 8th inning game.
He was born in Prado, Florida.
That's what I thought I heard him say.
What'd I say? Diaz, born in Prado, Florida.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's hot, Joe. Give me a break. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I think the heat's getting us.
Yeah. I didn't think sweat could run into your ears.
Those are small, too. Hey, another one.
Oh, sorry, Matty.
But that's brutal. 1 out.
It's been a ball all day.
I know. Here's Bourne.
Today's Coors Cold Hard Fact brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Braves, the National League leader in home runs by left-handed batters, including Michael Bourne, who has 7 of them. Nationals 3rd.
Three balls and a strike. Steven Strasburg started this game for Washington. Walked the first 2 hitters in the first inning. Walked the second and third hitters of the third inning. And that was the inning of his undoing. A 25-pitch frame that saw the Braves score 3 times. And that was it for the Washington right-hander, who left with heat-related issues in his 3rd start against the Braves this year. And Bourne walks for the 3rd time today.
Mike Gonzalez was off to a great start back in 2007 with Atlanta. He'd been in 18 games. He was 2-0 and had a 1.59 ERA. 17 innings, just 3 runs allowed. He walked 8, struck out 13, and then elbow. Tommy John surgery. He missed the rest of that season and most of 2008.
Bourne's going. Washington's the throw late. Michaels swipes second.
That was a good idea. After watching how slow Gonzalez was on the pickoff attempt before, didn't bother him at all to go on the first move and try to outrun the throw, which he did.
It means a run.
be a nice one to pick up with the heart of their order coming up in the ninth.
Swing and a miss by Martin Prado. That's the second out.
Mike didn't exactly quick pitch him here, but if it's possible to do that out of the stretch, he did. And by really speeding up his stretch, made his changeup that much more effective.
Yeah, it's always a good pitch if you can do that slide step and then throw an off-speed pitch, because like we talked about earlier with some other guys, when you see the pitcher go that quick, your tendency as a hitter is to want to get going with them, and then they throw that off-speed pitch and you're way out in front of it.
Jason has an RBI double in 3 tries today. He's also scored one of the 7 Atlanta runs. Big tip of the cap to the crowd today at Turner Field. The official attendance, 26,491.
Got the attendance or the temperature here today?
Yes.
Yeah, I give him credit. There is no way I'd come out here and watch a game in this. Unless I knew I was in the shade.
And tomorrow it's Tim Hudson and Gio Gonzalez. Tim has been dominant against Washington in his career. Gio Gonzalez 10-3 for the Nationals.
Now I'd come out tomorrow to see that.
One ball, 2 strikes. Straight overhead foul. And Jason is still alive. After the Nationals leave town, we've got the Cubs for 4. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th of July. Fireworks on the 3rd and the 4th, of course. And then we head to Philly next weekend.
Good at bat by Jason, hanging tough against a guy who has only given up 1 hit to lefties. Now, granted, he hasn't been in that many games for the Nationals, but left-handers are just 1 for 12 against Gonzalez.
Ground ball to second. And that will send this game to the 9th inning. 7-5 Atlanta. Craig Kimbrell will add a little more heat to a 104-degree day. been on a record-setting heat day in Atlanta. It's always good to see those flames that signal the arrival of Craig Kimbrell for the 9th inning, with the Braves up 7-5 over Washington.
And you see the saves and opportunities. He's still 22 for 23 because remember the other night when he gave up that home run to Chris Young, it was a tie ball game. He took a loss, but it was not a save opportunity. Part of their order, Zimmerman, Morse, and LaRoche combined 1 for 14 against him.
Zimmerman 0 for 3 today, but drove in the game's first run with a ground ball to second in the first inning. Remember, it was 2-0 Washington after 2 innings, with Strasburg pitching very well. The Braves, though, scored 7 unanswered runs. They took a 7-2 lead. Now it's 7-5 with Kimbrell trying to seal the deal in the 9th.
Last night we were talking about Ryan Zimmerman's leg kick, a real high leg kick. It's part of his swing. And against a guy throwing 96 to 98, you better get the foot down in a hurry. Brian McCann's been out there for every bit of it today, hanging in there. We actually, here at 7:15 roughly Eastern time, got a little cloud cover. Either that or the sun's gone behind the stadium some. That's helped a little bit. That was wide, but stay aggressive here. Don't want to put a guy on in this part of the order, especially with Morse coming up, representing the tying run.
Bouncing ball towards second. Dan charges. 1 out.
One thing I would like to see Craig do a little more of on some of these middle of the order tights is when he does get ahead 0-2, elevate, go upstairs and see if they'll chase above their hands.
Well, you'd figure with his velocity you'd get guys to chase that pitch, but you know it's not an easy pitch to throw, especially when you're geared to be down, and then you purposely trying to throw one high. It's the kind of thing that your guys are hesitant to do it because they don't feel comfortable doing it, and they guide the ball a little bit, and then all of a sudden that fastball ends up belt high, and it's a danger zone. But I agree with you. He could certainly something he could practice and add to it because it'd be tough for guys to lay off that pitch on him.
Big swing and a miss by Morse.
not sure if Morse asked Hudson if that was a strike or if that was fair.
It was, and it was 2 outs.
I know that's a slider by his definition, but it sure is a downward tilt.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a curveball break to it, and it's whatever he wants to call it. If he can continue to throw it in that area all the time, not too many guys are going to make contact.
Off speed to LaRoche and a called strike. Now one more strike to get.
This would be an awfully nice win. Trailing Steven Strasburg 2-0, spotting him 2 runs, and then coming back.
The 1-2 pitch ends the game. Craig Kimbrell nails it down, and the Braves and Nationals have split the first 2 games of this series in Atlanta. Today's final, Braves 7, Washington 5, and this brutal month of June ends with a winning record for the Atlanta Ball Club.
Toyota play of the game came at an opportune time for the Braves. The 3rd inning, they were down 2-0, and the Nationals had the bases loaded, 1 out, and a ground ball up the middle off the bat of Ian Desmond, who's been such a good clutch hitter for them. Right over the bag. Ugla handled it, turned it into a double play. Braves got out of the inning.